To me, white sugar, cocaine, white flour, they all fall in the same category of a whitened, extracted, purified substance that's drawn out of the plant kingdom. All of them create imbalances in the body and lead to all a host of problems.
But if you eat corn, it's fine. You're not going to get that much high fructose corn syrup.
The #1 source of calories in the United States is fructose, and fructose is highly addictive. In the 1900s, the average person was exposed to about 15 grams of fructose, and the fructose is another term for that is fruit sugar, and of course it's why most fruits are sweet. And fructose in small amounts, 15, 25 grams, which is less than an ounce a day, is probably okay and healthy. But the average person is consuming 70 to 80 grams a day, and there are many kids, primarily teenagers, who are taking 120, 150 grams of fructose a day, literally 10 times the amount that they were taking a century ago. So when you abuse that type of sugar and you have that exposure, it has very severe metabolic consequences that can lead to these addictive processes and change brain chemistry and really make it very difficult to get out of this cycle where you have these food cravings and really addicted to food that's not going to make you healthy.
And in terms of just the glycemic index, high fructose corn syrup is like jet fuel for your body. You know, if you pour jet fuel into your car's gasoline tank, you're going to ruin your engine and burn it out. Much the same thing happens in the human body. You can find high fructose corn syrup in so many products in the stores. It would amaze you if you turned them around and looked at the ingredients. You say, no way, I can't believe it's in here. Salad dressings will have it. You'll have high fructose corn syrup in like pasta sauces, and pizza sauce especially is loaded with it. You really have to watch out for everything in the grocery store. Read it, make sure it doesn't contain this high fructose corn syrup and other ingredients that are dangerous. Stay away from the isolates. Stay away from high fructose corn syrup. Stay away from anything that is an unnatural and highly concentrated chemical from a plant that should be consumed in its full spectrum bioavailable nutrient complexity. That's the way nature delivers food, as a nutrient complex, not as one isolated nutrient. One of the most important realizations that people need to get onto here is when they're eating is that the breads and any of these fluffy carbohydrates, they're converted into sugar right in your body. So within minutes after you eat them, they become sugar. So a lot of people say, well, I'm avoiding sugar because they're not eating crystallized sugar in that form or drinking liquid sugar, but they're eating a bread, or they're eating a pancake or a muffin or a cornbread. Cornbread used to be made out of corn and not sugar. Now it's like corn cake. It's sugarized corn cake. And when you eat that, that becomes sugar internally. It has a very high glycemic index and a high glycemic load.
I'm just going to lunch.
So when you're thinking about what to eat, if you're working to reduce your sugars, your definition of what is sugar really needs to expand. It's more than just the white powder.
It says breads, pasta, cereal, rice, potatoes, corn, waffles, pancakes, pretty much any food for breakfast that most people eat.
In America, we're eating about 150 pounds of sugar per year, each person. 79 pounds of high fructose corn syrup. That's about 22 teaspoons of sugar a day. Okay, so there's nothing moderate about that. Sugar is in everything, and everything from cough syrup to crackers to sushi. I mean, it's very hard to avoid. The more sugar that we're consuming, the more the increase of chronic disease we're experiencing, and also these incredible ups and downs and mood swings.
Because what sugar does is it increases beta endorphin in the brain, and that's a feel-good natural opiate, morphine-like substance. And so when you're depressed or you're under stress, you want to eat, what do we call them? comfort foods, macaroni and cheese, all the foods that have a virtual delivery system of sugar right into body fat. So it is not fat that makes you fat, it's sugar that makes you fat, and it is very easy and cheap to produce foods that become sugar quickly.
You think of something like a croissant. Many people I know that just say, you know, I've gone on a sugar-free diet, and I see them eating a croissant. And I say, that sugar, what do you think is going to happen? As soon as it enters the bloodstream, that is sugar.
What we're really talking about is getting that hit, getting that sugar high, getting that beta endorphin rush that people are looking for to soothe themselves when they are under stress. But once you understand that sugar is a drug, just like alcohol is a drug, and so what happens with any addiction is this: you become habituated to the effect, and therefore you need more and more and more over time to give you the same effect. It's no different than it is with sugar.
We know the problems caused by something like cocaine, purified cocaine. We know that causes problems. We're comfortable with referring to that as a drug. We're becoming culturally more comfortable with recognizing white sugar as a drug. I think people are starting to understand how addictive a substance it is.
Now, if you walk the aisles in the average grocery store and you look at the amount of sugar in a child's breakfast cereal, you might as well be rolling up the kid's sleeve and putting in heroin, because it's the same.
Milk ain't good enough anymore because someone at the milk board, right, and don't get me wrong, I support milk, but someone at the milk board probably paid a lot of money for some geezer to work out that if you put loads of flavourings and colourings and sugar in milk, right, more kids will drink it. For me, there ain't no need to flavour the milk, okay? There's sugar in everything. I know the ins and outs of those ingredients. It's in everything. Even the milk hasn't escaped the kind of modern-day problems. There's our milk, there's our carton. In that is nearly as much sugar as one of your favourite cans of fizzy pop, and they're having 2 a day. So, let me just show you. We've got one kid here having, you know, 8 tablespoons of sugar a day, you know. There's your week, there's your month, and I've took the liberty of putting in just the 5 years of elementary school sugar, just from milk. Now, I don't know about you guys, but judging the circumstances, right, any judge in the whole world would look at the statistics and the evidence, and they would find any government of old guilty of child abuse. That's my belief.
The challenge we have with food, or in particular sugar, is because it's illegal to give a child a cigarette, and so it should be. It is illegal to give a child alcohol. It's not illegal to give a child white refined sugar or refined fats. Food, as far as I'm concerned, kills more people than all drugs on earth combined. And again, to go back to the beginning, people know this, so why are highly intelligent people not stopping? Because they don't know the nature of the trap.
I used to be so addicted to sugar that I would literally throw my food out and dig through the garbage. So I'd go get, you know, ice cream and Ben & Jerry's and donuts, and I'd have a pig out fest. And I would have to throw my food in the garbage, and then I got to the point where I would dig through the garbage and get the sugar. And then I got to a point where the only way I wouldn't dig through the garbage was to spray it with Windex. So you tell me that that's healthy and in balance.
Now, we think about, ooh, cocaine, heroin, all these big drugs, but the truth is that premature death is coming from sugar and alcohol and smoking, of course. So if you begin to think about these massive doses of sugar as no different from drugs and alcohol, then you get a handle on the situation.
America loves enemies, and America chooses an enemy and deploys all its forces against it, right? So at some point, when we were noticing that we were getting fat as a population, we attacked. We made the enemy was fat, and everything became fat-free. Fat-free this and fat-free that. And the calories that fat were occupying were replaced by mostly carbohydrates. That resulted in the fattest country in the world.
Fat-free normally means it's loaded with sugar. I can get a 2-pound bag of sugar in my hand now, and I can put a label that says 100% fat-free. The fact that once the sugar is ingested will turn into fat in the body, because why? Because it sends the sugar levels sky high. And what does the pancreas do? It has to secrete insulin in order to bring that down so you don't die. Insulin is the fat-producing hormone. So the 2-pound bag of sugar that I put 100% fat-free, although factually correct, is unbelievably misleading. So all this excess energy comes along and says, where can we store it? Short-term places, liver, but what do we do with the excess? I know what we'll do. We'll produce some fat cells, store them in there, use them later. Problem is, there's never a later.